Hello and welcome, guys. Today we'll be interviewing the head coach, Dylan Strachan, of the SHU club soccer team. Welcome. For our first question of the day, in your second year of being the head coach, there's definitely a new excitement around the team. What can you tell us about the transition of the club from when you took over?
Yeah, so roughly 2016, I had a conversation with the previous coach. He was going on to further endeavors, and it sort of worked conveniently for myself being in the coaching world and continuing to find new chances within it. So it honestly worked out perfectly considering timing wise. But as for the atmosphere and the change of more or less pace, I guess, with the guys, it's been a helping hand with a number of different people, whether it be captains, people like Alex, people like Harrison, people like Nick, people like the senior class, which actually happens to be a whittled down class. We only have 4 of them at the moment, it's a unfortunate scene from the more or less shambles that the previous system was at. But moving forward, it's going to be an interesting experience. So
yeah, we're all looking forward to seeing how it turns out. Going off of that question, is there anything in a sense that we're taking from the original program back when Miguel was still around and kind of taking it and running with it?
Sure. So again, with Miguel, there was a definitely a different atmosphere. At the time, we had maybe 6 to 7 former Division I players playing on the team that had been through their eligibility. And I had been assisting Miguel, but also playing at the end of my own eligibility after my time with the D1 program. And what ended up happening was we sort of came to this, I guess, understanding that in the event that he were to move on and things were to take over on my side, which is where we find ourselves now, we would sort of keep a similar system, hoping that we would keep a rapport in terms of our at the time, minimal travel experiences, look to move forward and take that into further experiences, which this year we happen to be able to, for the first time, make our way over an hour away from school. We're traveling to, at first it was Cornell, and then this weekend we're finding ourselves at Georgetown, and then at the end of the season we're finding ourselves at Dartmouth. So each of those experiences are growing phases of the program, and I think, nourishing opportunities that will allow us to sort of take it to a further competition level, allowing us to not only force competition around the camp, but also allow us to find exposure in direction with the team. So all good things.
And with that travel in question, how do you think that the ability to find these new schools, travel, play these different teams that are very well rated in the country, how do you think that's affecting and possibly benefiting the players that we have?
Sure. Most importantly is that a lot of these kids come from experienced backgrounds, whether they were looking to play Division 3, 2, 1 soccer, or not at all, and we're strictly looking for club programs. It's important because again, as I was saying previously, the exposure to our program as a very young, growing, more fragile, nonetheless, system that we have, it becomes essential to have these opportunities. Cornell is rated number 1 in the country at the moment, since the beginning of the season, and to go and have an opportunity to play them, at their campus on an away trip with full transportation at hand, and to have the opportunity to then take that to other experiences, whether it be in conference, traveling to West Point, or traveling to then our other out of conference games, Georgetown and Dartmouth. It's again, I look back to learning experience. Now, we don't want this year to go by the wayside. We have very integral parts to our team at the moment, so we want to take full advantage of what we have here. By no means is this a throwaway season. This is very much a competitive season in that we're looking to use every single point that we can earn, grow on the table to allow us to bump up in hopefully national rankings and qualify for what we just more or less barely missed in the regional tournament last year. If we can qualify for that, that certainly supersedes our immediate goals. And then the national tournament would be, just another nice add-on to that, but certainly something we're hoping to reasonably qualify for. And then again, that all being said, every single new kid, we're playing very young kids here. It's a lot of what we're traveling with, a lot of what we're playing with are freshmen and sophomore class, and most of our leadership comes from our junior class. And again, we have a very small senior class that kind of creates the backbone here. And I think the intensity that we force out of the younger kids and the expectation from a very early stage in their college career is only going to benefit us with the ability to travel to massive teams ranked nationally and other teams within our own conference that have experience playing at the regional level.
Perfect. Well, going off of the topic at hand with the members of the squad, this question's in two parts. So, looking at the squad that we have this year, what are your thoughts on the returning players that we have, some of the upperclassmen? And then in addition to that, your thoughts on the new additions to the team, for instance, the Italians?
Sure. Yeah, Gianpaolo and Nicolo are both unique people, in amazingly positive ways. They have incredible insight towards the game. They're helping freshmen come along. They're helping upperclassmen come along, and they're bringing in I think a newfound intensity from their homage and their background to instill in our own program. And I can only thank them for their new abilities and their new interest in the program. And again, coming from a way where soccer is part of their life on a very regular basis. And again, Nicolo happens to be a part of the fencing team here, but nonetheless, coming from a soccer background, both Gianpaolo and Nicolo happen to, flourish in that level of intensity, hoping that will carry on with kids that understand it's a club team, but also know that we're expecting a competitive atmosphere. So very, very importantly, we're hoping that they are continuing to work off of that. And then again, looking back on the squad, we have heavy returners, which is again a step in the right direction. It's more or less the one of the few years we've had a large student body coming back. Last year was nice. We had a very heavy freshman starting lineup, and I think that only benefited us moving forward into year two of my time here as the coach. And so again, there's people like Rob, our starting center forward typically, and he becomes an integral part in soccer IQ, working with people on a management level, working with people on a man-to-man basis, right? Sort of helping to back and reassure the young ones. And then again, we have a vast majority of our roster made up by freshmen. And that being said, those freshmen have slowly but surely, only in week two, and a heavy week of preseason, become integral parts. And this coming week, there's those that are going to be made aware by either watching the game or hopefully seeing it streamed live. There's going to be some good surprises come this immediate weekend. September 14th, this Friday, and then tomorrow at home again versus CCSU at 5:30. All three of the games coming at home this weekend should bring significant surprises. And then again, we'll be traveling away at Georgetown. So the people that are returning, I can only say great things about them. They help. They are amazingly talented in terms of soccer IQ, in terms of the ability to bring a different atmosphere to every single training session, to away travel, to games, to make sure that kids are up, morales are in place, and really keeping the right foot forward in terms of gearing the young ones up to keep involved with the longevity of the program.
Yeah, I think everyone's really looking forward to see how that kind of dynamic aspect of the relationship between the returners and the new additions to the squad turns out.
Certainly.
Going off of the question of the freshmen, I know today we're looking to start a few of the new freshmen in our formation against Marist. Do you have any comments on that?
Sure. again, regarding the immediate game time game plan, I won't go too in depth, only to keep our own secrecy towards it, but lack of a better term, I suppose. But the best thing to be said regarding that is that there's a lot of faith being put very early on the freshman body here, mass body, right? And the important thing regarding that is I had a few conversations with some of the younger guys on the team. Many of them made the travel to Cornell. Many of them got their first experience against a top premier program who has regional and national experience. And the important thing here is to understand that there's at the moment 4 immediate positions up for grabs. And I say up for grabs because I'm forcing a level of competition out of the young players and out of returners as well, to make sure that they're reassuring that that needs to be their spot. But then again, the freshmen, that I'm not turning an eye on them, that I'm making sure that they're accounted for and that they are rightfully so earning their spot and getting the opportunity to prove that they deserve to get a starting nod or get the opportunity to be on the pitch to begin with. Many people saw minimal time at Cornell. A lot of returners picked up heavy workload, and you could see the discipline in the first 15 20 minutes against Cornell, but to sort of leave that and tie that up and keep it behind us moving forward, I think it's going to be good to understand systems at a very early stage in the season. We work on it almost every day at practice, and we make sure that the kids that are going to be in are well suited and well formatted to make sure that they can make calculated decisions come game time and understand tactics that both myself, someone like Garfield as an part assistant, player coach, if you will, in a way, and then my captains as well. It's very essential that very important people to me in the program are being held accountable and being able to voice their opinions and voice their directions as well, so long that it agrees with what I'm looking to achieve.
Very Jose Mourinho-esque in the sense that we're looking to really emphasize the competition involved in finding starting positions this year and really trying to work everyone to their full potential. Off of that, what type of tactics necessarily do you look to employ this season?
Sure. So last year, one of our downfalls happened to be a heavy switch in formation and tactics as well as system overall. The issue was we found ourselves starting with a 4-2-3-1, a very much counter-attacking style, looking to play finding Rob and finding our outside midfielders on a break, right? Very defensively strong. We had a lot of defensive players that I had plenty of trust in last season. Last season we had some, Anthony Galvano, we had Steven at a very healthy part in his college career. We had Harley, a senior outside back, and we had 2 or 3 right backs that were really coming into their own as first or second year players on the team. So in terms of having a staple, our defense was really that. And I mean, Christian played brilliantly in many of our games as a goalkeeper. But that being said, the holding midfield and the back line is where we were really strong. And so going into the season, we were hoping that would be what would carry us. Sure enough, we found ourselves switching almost immediately come week 2 to an attacking and pressing 4-3-3. And because of that, and I guess a little bit unnervy, maybe first season jitters, there became a point where we actually ended up switching 2 to 3 more times on different systems. So the inconsistencies sort of was a bit of our own downfall and a learning lesson nonetheless, but certainly something that we're not going to make a mistake again this year. This year we have our system, we have our formation, and moving forward we're going to make sure that we get the most out of it regardless of who's playing. Very much a high energy coach that wants the players to know their responsibilities and discipline, and in the event that they're being questioned, we have people that will fill in and suit those roles properly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you very much for your time today. We're very looking forward to the high intensity that we've been talking about tonight in both of our games and tomorrow against CCSU.
You got it. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.